Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is my review for Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Recently released here in the UK on the Disney Plus platform, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is the sequel to the alternate Sleeping Beauty tale Maleficent, released back in 2014 starring Angelina Jolie. Jolie once again reprises her role here as the title character. In Mistress of Evil, Maleficent travels to a castle in a neighbouring kingdom to celebrate the upcoming wedding of Aurora and Prince Philip. There she is framed for cursing the king, as Aurora's future mother-in-law, played here by Pfeiffer, schemes and plots to destroy the land of the fairies. Well, that's the pleasantries out of the way, so let's dive straight in. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is not a good film. It is not a bad film. It is an absolutely awful film. Thematically, the film is absolutely all over the place. The messaging is as clumsy as it is lost in its own belief that it has resounding meaning and purpose. Everything is bigger. The costumes, the score, the set pieces, even the world building to a smaller degree, but it all feels superficially taped on and sewn together like a tattered flag in a gust of wind, and that stems purely from the horrendously thin and completely flat scripting and dialogue. The casting lineup is impressive, truth be told. Of course, you have Angelina Jolie, who cements her presence as Maleficent and leads the film, albeit in vain, through the convoluted mire. You have Michelle Pfeiffer, who is effective and intriguing as the evil stepmother / mother-in-law archetypal figure, and you have Chiwetel Ejiofor as the linchpin between Maleficent and what's left of her own kind. Sadly though, neither of them are really given that much to do, as their characters are swallowed up by the whole insipid nature and unsurprising paint-by-numbers motives, or the massive amounts of exposition that attempts to broaden the scope of the world they inhabit. Instead, it leaves everything more confusing and baked with torturous questions around continuity and the already established lore. And when a sequel simply forgets a few moments about character building from the original, you know you're in trouble. Chiwetel Ejiofor is easily the most wasted of all the new faces. His character spouts off the aforementioned layers of exposition and then is unceremoniously bumped off for his services. Excellent. And if I didn't say already, I am going to give some slight spoilers here, but the film has been out for 7 months already, so just deal with it. But everything happens so fast in this film, jumping from one idea to the next without fully exploring them. His passing has no real affecting impact at all. It just happens. And yet the film attempts to market his death as a poignant moment, even though we know nothing about him, miraculously sparking the other wasted and pointless side characters into action for the final act. Did I miss something during the course of it all? Probably, but who really cares at this point? The film shifts between so many ideas and plot points that it feels like several films squashed desperately into one, like an old suitcase being forced to carry just that one extra bloody shoe. The film constantly feels as though it will buckle under its own presumptions that you will simply accept what you see without thought and mindlessly enjoy it and be engrossed by the non-existent threat level. It feels rushed. Whereas the first film, for all its own issues, was able to slow things down and delve into the wider meaning of the characters, their motives and their place in the world, this sequel blazes through absolutely everything without stopping to think, which only highlights just how short-changed the story actually is, and no amount of ultra-heavy CGI, as seen here in this film, will mask that. It has that rare, disastrous quality about it that it both feels overcooked and underdone, so much so that the entire film from start to finish feels completely void of any emotion, despite its best attempts to drive some meaning from the losses of some of the characters. This is coupled by what is laughable An absolutely laughable action set piece that makes no sense at all, both visually and strategically, with regards to the plot of the film. The flying brethren of Maleficent swoop down upon the castle housing Michelle Pfeiffer's scenery-chewing queen in a majestically pointless raid, which does nothing but expose just how useless and throwaway they are as characters and as creatures, and how ineffective they are as a visual threat. The battle sequence is creatively redundant and tonally flat, and the CGI looks older than it should for a film with this level of backing. The fairies, who do absolutely nothing throughout the entirety of the film, somehow look worse than their much better cartoon counterparts from the original Sleeping Beauty film all those many decades ago. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. This film is utter garbage. But, wondrously though, Angelina Jolie comes out of the film relatively unscathed from what is a complete and utter disaster of a film, even if she has more costume changes than actual lines of dialogue. Feel free to count them. Mistress of Evil is a disappointing and unnecessary follow-up to what was a disappointing and unnecessary film to begin with. Sure, the film has much to say on fear and intolerance, but the film's uneven tone and the structure derails all of that messaging amongst the confusing and ill-thought-out moments, which are summarised no greater than the finale wedding taking place quite literally just after the major battle. On the same day, no less, the dead are still lining the ground, the castle is on fire and partly demolished, but sod it, let's have a chuffing wedding, why not? We've only got 2 minutes to go before the credits. The film is creatively redundant. A creatively redundant sack of manure, to put it lightly, and at 2 hours long is a boring, complete and utter waste of time, celluloid and actors. There is so much more to pick apart with this film, but I am done. I never want to see or hear from this film again, purely because of the costumes, which are pretty damn good, I'll be honest, and purely because Angelina Jolie gives it everything. I'm giving this film a 2 out of 10. If I could give it any less, I would, but god damn it, the sheer amount of costume changes really did give you an extra mark there. Awful, absolutely awful film. Do not waste your time with this film. Find something else to watch. If you watched it at the cinema 7 months ago when it was out, I do feel sorry for you. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I'm paying the subscription fee for Disney Plus just to watch Star Wars content, because this was an absolute waste of my time. And that's all I'm going to say for right now. Bye bye.